It's January 10th, but what does that date mean for you as a Bahamian? We'll find out coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition.
And a Chinese worker persuaded from taking a fatal leap today. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, I'm LaDon Davis, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Thanks for tuning in with us. A pivotal day in Bahamian history is being remembered. The historic event that took place on January 10th, 1967, saw a hard-fought and competitive election with both the Progressive Liberal Party and the United Bahamian Party winning 18 seats, with the PLP gaining 2 additional seats and obtaining majority rule in Parliament. That victory helped to usher in many opportunities for Bahamians, not only from a political but economic and social standpoint. Leading the movement was the father of the modern-day Bahamas, the late Prime Minister Sir Lyndon Pinling, and the occasion was marked by the traditional wreath-laying at his gravesite at the St. Agnes Cemetery. R.C. Esker Adderley was there.
Majority rule marks one of the most defining moments in the country's evolution. Since January 10, 1967, Bahamians have benefited at various levels from that historic event. And according to historians, it presented the opportunity for true democracy for the Bahamas. A key figure in helping to propel the launch of majority rule was the father of the nation and former Prime Minister Sir Lyndon Pinling. Commemorating the occasion, Governor General Her Excellency Dame Marguerite Pinling laid a wreath Saturday morning at the mausoleum of her late husband. She reflected how that fateful day brought about what we know to be the modern Bahamas.
Bahamians would understand later on what majority rule means, because before 1967, my man, there was nothing for us as a people. We couldn't go to the Savoy Theatre. We couldn't go at Grand Central Restaurant. We couldn't go in Prince George Hotel. We couldn't go anywhere in this country. We were nobodies. But thanks be to God, 1967 made us somebody, and we are now number one. But I'm grateful, and that is why I'm here this morning to say thank you for his vision and for the work that he's done for his country and his people.
The Governor General expressed disappointment in younger Bahamians not knowing their history, but notes that the blame must be placed at the feet of the older generations for not taking the time to teach it to them.
Why are we being ashamed of where we came from? We're not responsible for the way we lived in the early days. We're not responsible for that. They have not explained to the children how it was that we didn't have outside toilets. And don't be ashamed of it, because it's not your fault. But thanks be to God, look where we are now.
Echoing similar sentiments was Chairman of the National Heroes Committee, Canon Sebastian Campbell, who called Majority Rule Day one of the most important days in Bahamian history. PLP Chairman Bradley Roberts was also on hand for Saturday's wreath-laying.
The education of our people is what really and truly will sustain us and help us not to repeat the mistakes of the past. Right now, we are falling down in the education of our people.
The achievement of the Progressive Liberal Party in bringing about majority rule was very significant, and it is something that ought to be celebrated.
The historical holiday will be observed on Monday. This comes after the government officially passed the law that added majority rule to the listing of public holidays. And it is being stressed that January 10th is a day in the national calendar that belongs to all Bahamians. Esker Adderley, ZNS Network News.
On the national scene, the country expected to see an inflow of new economic investments. In a few weeks, the government will meet with a group planning to take on 2 major developments on the island of Exuma. Minister of State for Investments Kaylis Roll says the group will be in the Bahamas finalizing plans on those projects, and work will begin sometime in March. However, Roll dispels misconceptions that the Bahamas can develop on its own without investments from countries like China. He says no country can build on its own, and the assistance from direct foreign investments are needed to boost revenue, especially for small and medium-sized businesses.
We haven't done well over the years is ensure that the downstream benefits of foreign direct investment flows to small and medium-sized enterprises. You know, when the recession hit, the sins that we committed over the years were unmasked. You know, we attracted multi-national corporations with tremendous capacity that invested a lot of money. But if you look at the what should have been a direct correlation for business development, it just isn't there. You know, we have to re-engineer not only the economy but the country.
Now, Mr. Rowe also commenting on the National Development Plan for the Bahamas. He says even though the plan is in its infancy stage, he is optimistic that it will identify all of this country's strengths, weaknesses, and even threats. Mr. Rowe also provides an update on that plan.
We will get the first major output of that plan in late February, early March, which will be the diagnostic, which identifies what the SWOT is for the country. And then after that, we will start to work on how we benefit from the opportunities, what strategies, what restructuring of government needs to take place, what restructuring of the economy needs to take place to ensure that for the next 25 years, the Bahamas is on a positive growth plan.
Bahamian consumers and the business sector also attempting to adjust to the newly implemented business sector.